morning, everyone. This is Sarah Berman, and you are watching Practically Writing. Today, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people don't really discuss in detail, so I'm going to try and fill that gap in for you. What we're talking about today is an author's backlist. Stay tuned until the end of the show for announcements and the like. Let's get started. So what is a backlist? An author backlist, in its shortest form, is all of the things that an author has published previously. Everything that the author has out up to that point is the backlist. Now this can change periodically as certain books go out of print. Obviously, as new books come out, you add to your backlist. There are a lot of reasons why an author would want to have a solid backlist or even build up a backlist. A backlist does a lot of things for an author. One of the big things is it lends a certain validity, I guess. A person isn't more or less an author if they have a lot of books put out, but if an author does have a lot of books out, people tend to go, hey. Even more important than that, you can use your backlist to promote your current releases, particularly books that are in the same series. You can put on discount. You can use tidbits from those to tease for, book 3, book 4, etc., etc. So you can utilize those books to expand what you can promote when you're doing a book release. This actually ratchets up the interest in a new book pretty high. From the author's perspective, however, there is a huge reason to have a backlist. Every time you have a book released, you're going to get some sales. That's the theory, at least. However, people who like your work are probably going to look you up and see what else you have. If most of what you have is short stories and anthologies that are collections of short stories from other authors as well, that can be a little hairy. The only reason I have purchased anthologies because an author was in them is because they were short stories that were actually canonical portions of a series. If you're going to do that, great. And I totally suggest doing that. Anytime you can leverage a short story into an anthology that is part of the series, do it. Because you're going to get the reach for the other authors, and you're going to get more people to buy the anthology because it's part of the series. And if all of the authors are doing that, that's pretty wicked. So people want other books by the author. If people fall in love with the author, they want the other books. You make that as easy as possible for them. This is why a lot of people propose that you do not actually publish until you have like 3 or 4 books to put out, because you can essentially boom, boom, boom with a backlist. It's kind of a super build on the backlist. But not everybody does that. And quite frankly, spreading out the cost of publication is a totally legitimate choice for some authors. It's not necessary, but it is highly recommended by a lot of people. I personally do not wait. I just kind of trickle them down and, hope for the best. Okay, some ways to build your backlist. Well, I do a lot of anthologies. And again, people do not buy anthologies just to get a single one-off story from a single author. It's not common enough to be able to really build a marketing strategy around. I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, but if that's what your sales strategy is, good luck with that. What I do is, because most of the anthologies that I submit to I do a lot of charity anthologies, and I do a lot of small press anthologies. So, in general, the stories themselves only stay in contract for those anthologies, that is exclusive to those anthologies, for 3 to 6 months. I generally give it at least 6 months just to be helpful, I guess. If people want to read my stuff, then they're more likely to buy the anthology at that point. But once that time period is up, I actually republish the short story as a single short. This gives me quite a backlist. Plus, I get a kind of twofer in terms of publication. I have the anthology, which generally has multiple authors promoting and encouraging people to read, and etc., etc. And then with the single, I can promote just my own story once the anthology has kind of faded away, faded out of people's current focus. And I always price them at 99 cents because they're never, they're a couple thousand words. I think the shortest one I have is like 5,000 words or so. So, like 5 to 20,000 words is about the general range of those. Yeah, they're not huge. They're not a great big thing. So a 99-cent work is exactly what I need. It's a great way to promote me as an author without asking people to invest a lot. Freebies you would think would do better, but people tend to not read freebies. Another way to build your backlist is to put out a whole bunch of books in a very short period of time. Obviously, if you're not starting out with a collection of stuff I've been writing for a decade kind of thing, or 2 decades, whatever, then you have to work on those stories. I do not know a single author that has a problem coming up with story ideas, so it's just a matter of having the time to get them done. That being said, that is actually one of the goals of my hashtag 13 and 24 challenge. 13 publications in 24 months, and actually I did a recount. It might actually be 15 that I'm planning on publishing. But whether it's, 13 or 30 in 24 months, by the time you're done with a challenge like that, you will have a significant backlist. Now, I essentially developed the 13 and 24 challenge based on a somewhat tight schedule that I was 95% certain I could keep up with. It came from an understanding of how quickly I write, the things that I was picking and how long I'm expecting them to be, and how quickly I can turn around from a first draft to a final product. Because of all of that, I developed, approximately 13 publications in 24 months. That is where that comes from. However, it is highly recommended that you take into account your own writing strategies. If you write really quickly, maybe you can do more than 13 and 24. If you don't want like a huge backlist, but maybe just like 6 or so books, and you think you can do that in a year, go for it. I hope that explains a little bit better what a backlist is. It's a word that gets thrown around quite a bit, and it doesn't always get explained in detail. So now you know what a backlist is and why you should have one. One last thing about a backlist, though: market it. Never, never, never ignore a book just because it's not your most recent release. Promo all of your books. I am personally planning on doing some great things with holiday sales this coming November and December. I'm not saying that I'm bundling swag with books. but I might be. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it's a little shorter than what I usually do, but hey, sometimes the topic isn't quite as draggy. If you like these videos, don't forget to ring the bell. If you love this video, don't forget to thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to continue to get these great videos. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and BookBub. Just look for Sarah Berman and or Author Goddess. You can still get Too Wyrd and Fluffy Bunny on Amazon, and Her Favorite Mistake and His Precious Undoing are also on Amazon under Lena Grace. Carrier should be out in a dystopian fantasy anthology. I'm not sure they finalized the name on that yet, but stay tuned to find out. I'm hoping that will be done by November, because guess who's nanoing? That's right. I will be on Nano, so send me a message, say hi, let's do some goals. I am almost finished with my short story Dragon Train, which is for a Western fantasy anthology that is scheduled for release on the 1st of January. After that, I am going to be working on Superpower Anonymous for a superheroes anthology that will be out in December. So, all of that is going crazy. Later in December, I am going to be working my little behind off because Her Beloved Disaster, Book 3 in the Hot Fae Nights series by Lena Grace, is scheduled to be released on January 20th, so I should probably get that done. Maybe. Don't forget to check it out. Thanks. Bye. Word sprints. That's the theory, at least. Nobody loves me. 13 or 15 or 300. Don't try 300 in two years. Oh my gosh. No, just don't do it. Do not do it. Save yourself. Run away. It's not dragon. Fantasy author jokes. Hashtag.